22.
So, anything else about Spider-Man: Homecoming, or
I'm sure some things will come up in the.
I'm sure there's millions of things, but I mean, what else? We just did an entire hour review. Basically, it didn't talk about really any of the FX stuff at all. We skipped all the major things that most reviews will be covering in depth are not found in this because we don't need to go into that. That's already out there.
That's true.
We liked the effects. Everything was cool, but these were the things that were story mode. You know.
and for me, that was more important for me
part
of any movie really, because I could suspend belief, and I'm one of those people, like, I could see bad CGI and not have it affect me. Like, it's bad, but I'll move on. Like, it's still better than not, like, still better than practical. Like, you know, like, because I remember, like, for me, where I put that to bed, I believe it was the second Matrix movie, and the Neo was out there kicking everybody's ass, and it really looked like a computer-generated cartoon, rubbery
it
Neo.
Looks really bad now.
And I was like, "Oh my god, this is like not even."
Watching it in the theater, I was like, "What the?" Watching it now, it's like, man.
And so now it's like, I mean, we've had. At this point, I kind of feel like we're spoiled, because they have so many advancements with computer generated imaging that when you do see bad CGI, you're like, oh, you know.
I didn't see any bad CGI. I'll tell you that. I think it all looked pretty damn good.
No, not in this movie.
Now here's that we didn't talk about. One thing I think really sold him to me as the Spider-Man that I remember reading about all this time, was his accent. We talked about it at Civil War, where he sounds like a New York teenager, which is odd because he's from England. But
British.
That whole thing, and then kicking the Ramones tunes in there, really like, okay, this is definitely New York. Like the very ending of the film, where someone is saying something and it cuts off and goes right into the music, like that was perfect. They really got the whole idea. And so obviously it was. I say, what's his face from Freaks and Geeks and his partner. They obviously were Spider-Man fans at some point. Probably right when we were.
Yeah, same age.
Very much. You made the movie that we all wanted and deserved. And
I would say, of the 5 Spider-Man movies that have come out,
the 5 past
Spider-Man movies that came out, for me, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 2 there was no movie better. Like, because I remember the first Spider-Man, we saw it, and edge of your seat. This was the movie I've been waiting my whole life to see.
That was it,
and it was good, and I was happy, and I was like, oh man, it was a good movie. Even in the end, because I even said, because it was like it came out a year after 9/11. So when the very end scene, when he was on the pole, the American flag, everything, big clap, I felt proud, everything. Loved the movie. But then when the Alfred Molina, his Doc Ock, I was like, damn, that really made Spider-Man 2. Because the one thing about Spider-Man that would put me off was the Green Goblin, dude. Yeah. The Green Goblin was no good. Yeah. Sleep.
He's one of those
cool, but it wasn't the Green Goblin. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was that kind of thing. They did have a rubber goblin-y mask that was like almost perfect.
I wanted to see that.
He didn't want to wear it because you couldn't see his face, which was another problem with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, including 2, is that he spent significant portions of time using his powers with his mask off in public. Like, put your mask on, Nobody cares what you look like, Tobey Maguire.
And there's also that thing where it's like when he was on the train and the whole thing, and like all those Spider-Man, because even the Homecoming, they had the thing with the Staten Island Ferry. Yeah. Like that's a thing in the Spider-Man movies where Spider-Man is doing everything he can to save the people.
But he still fucked up, which was awesome in Homecoming.
Yeah.
He still fucked up.
He kept his mask on.
Yes.
Yeah. But when the people were like, oh, wow, he's just a kid. And again, you have to suspend disbelief, because I'm still looking at grown ass Tobey Maguire. He's just a kid. No, he's not.
Yeah.
It's a grown man.
Yeah. That's funny that you mentioned
And
like
then
the first Spider-Man with the 9/11 thing. Remember how they originally had him webbed between the twin
The Twin
towers in the
Towers.
trailer
Yeah.
and stuff, and they had to
yeah,
edit and remove it from the poster and everything else. And you flash forward 16 years, and he's literally riding on an airplane, trying not to crash into the fucking buildings.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
yeah.
was like, are
Wow.
they gonna do it? Whoa! You know, like that's someone's reference back to. Remember when we had to take this out? Oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not do that again.
Yeah. Let's keep that out.
It was Coney Island.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
not Coney Island. Um, and then another thing. Well, one thing I had about Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, like he was too edgy as Peter Parker, and he was too
Mhm.
good looking.
Yeah, both
Well,
of those.
it was like
Yeah.
that was like Twilight Spider-Man or something. It had
Yeah.
the wrong actor altogether there.
Yeah,
And what's
not
her
that
face
Tom
was pretty
Holland.
good as Gwen or whatever, but you don't make a whole
Yeah.
movie based around Gwen
Right.
unless it's
Oh,
Spider Gwen,
so
then that might be cool.
and just to round it off, I mean, I know we talked a lot. Just the one thing I would say about the third and fourth leads in the movie, I think the little bit that they got, like we already said with Zendaya, she didn't even have a lot of dialogue. She just had a lot of looks and stuff, and she was
Yeah.
always to the side and
Right.
detention. What are you even doing here? And it's
Yeah,
like
like putting a cap on a scene or
it
something.
was
No, she
like
was
it was
following
nice.
him around.
Right.
And the kid who played Ned Leeds, I mean, I was like,
It was
that
good.
kid was good. It was good. He was good for being Peter's best friend and buddy and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
And again, it was like they're doing gym class and stuff like that. And then, of course, Peter he's doing the hell out of these sit-ups, and then the
Yeah.
coach says something, and he has to remember, oh yeah, wait, I'm a nerd. I'm not supposed to be rocked out.
Yeah,
But
they
then when
borrowed
Ned,
that character a lot from the Ultimate Universe too, as far as the Asian guy in the chair operating the thing. Miles Morales has one of those. It's almost exactly the same character. So
uh,
naming him Ned Leeds, I can only imagine is a way to lead into some Hobgoblin shit later.
Hope.
but how is he going to be the Hobgoblin?
He's got to lose a couple of lbs.
Yeah, but or we can have a fat
Well, but
Hobgoblin, which would be cool.
Ned was never really the Hobgoblin anyway. He was just caught up in
Yeah.
that. He was really a reporter, right?
Right.
Right. But no, he took the mask off, and it was Ned Leeds.
Ned Lee.
Until they revealed that was bullshit. How
I
he
don't
used to-
remember that. I
Well,
remember he
see,
was the
yeah, I
Hobgoblin.
jumped off around the same time for a while, and when you come back later, you're like, "What? What's all this stuff?" And then it was this guy, then this guy, and then there was Hobgoblin 2 and 3, and what? And then Jack O'Lantern became a Hobgoblin, and I click.
Yeah.
Well,
the
that's
equivalent
the
of
thing.
clicking off the TV that you can do.
When
I,
you
nowadays.
have-
I have Amazing Spider-Man 289 where he is
Yeah.
revealed as Ned Leeds.
And
It's
that's
what is
that's
it?
history to me, right? Yeah.
You got
That's it.
these generations upon things. You got to make these characters fresh and entertaining and stuff, and you have to. So I get why it's a soap opera, man. It's like
Yeah.
It
stick
is,
with
yeah.
it long enough, and
Right.
everybody will eventually be related. Like you
There
said
was,
earlier, eventually.
There was a girl there at the school who popped up a few times. If you watch again and watch in the background, like long white hair, pretty much. And like, well, at some point, did somebody at least say bye, Felicia? Because obviously it's gonna.
Yeah, Felicia Hardy.
So
I
they
liked
threw
that they
her
had
in there,
Betty
too.
Brant. They had
And
Betty in
was
there.
Yeah, yeah.
Betty.
She was on the school thing, and Liz, and then like they just didn't have Gwen. It was like, but I guess you got to save something for the next movie and the next movie.
I think they
And,
skipped her
and-
because they just had her in the
It's so
previous
fresh.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so fresh that it's like, well, again.
It's
And
like
they
when you
already
think
did
about
her
it.
story with Mary Jane in the first batch too. It's like they've already thrown her off
Yeah.
the bridge twice. It's done. No one's going to be impressed
Yeah.
by that scene ever again. So fuck it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think we've talked a lot about Spider-Man: Homecoming. If you have a chance to go see it, go see it. Everyone
Yeah.
else has.
Yeah, I think
And
this
if
is.
you
I
don't
mean, it's
wait
another.
6 weeks, and it'll be on home video. Yeah.
And the only thing that I want to say, and this is in closing, is while watching the movie, you can see a little bit of studio beef because they opened the movie, Columbia Pictures,
Oh,
Sony, and
yeah.
stuff like that, and then
Yeah.
Marvel didn't get their shine until after the first beat.
Right.
And so then you do some Marvel Studios, and then what they did was they
That
flipped
surprised me.
their Marvel Studios theme music for the old Spidey music, and we all read the reports, or assuming fuck it. I'm gonna say it. We all read the reports earlier where Sony was already talking about, yeah, we did this collaboration, but for the next one, it's just gonna be all Sony. And it's like, slow down, guys. Marvel
Let this
has a
nice track record going.
let's just you want this movie to continue, you want it to be stay being good,
Yeah.
just let them leave in, because having Iron Man, little bits of Iron Man, little bits of Cap, little bits of talking about the Sokovia Accords and the thing and all this stuff, being a part of that universe, you don't want to pull Spider-Man out of it
major,
now.
Man. It's major.
You want to keep that shit connected. You really do.
Please
Well,
do.
plus they set it up for the future. But what they could do now, they could do an entire, 2-movie run where it's just Spider-Man. They don't mention any of that other stuff at all, and then they go back and he's, a little bit older
True.
and tries to meet with them and stuff.
But
Yeah.
keep it in the universe. You got two big,
Yeah.
you got two
Oh, I
more
think they
big
will.
Avengers movies coming up. You want that cross promotion.
I think
It's
they'll
a
keep it in
smart
the
business.
universe. They just won't
Keep
do
it
any
in the universe.
cross-referring for a while, Probably. Because they don't,
Yeah,
they just
you know.
made $150 million or whatever in a weekend again. They're not going to make major changes to the team. They're going to let them do what they want.
You would hope. Stranger things have happened. I mean, Ralphie already told me, the DCEU, man, you guys, they're flying high on this Wonder Woman stuff right now, but you guys are still the DCEU. You guys can still fuck this up.
Did you see the trailer for Justice League while you were watching Spider-Man?
Nope, they did not show that one.
It was not,
I saw
it was
Jumanji.
not impressive at all. I saw Jumanji too, and actually, I went from not giving a shit about that at all to thinking, oh, that's kind of a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
The way they
So
changed
did
it
I.
up.
Yeah.
I didn't care one thing about they were saying we're making another Jumanji. I was like, why? And then I saw the way they were doing it and how they were doing it, and I laughed out loud in the movie theater. I thought it was funny.
Yeah,
It looked
those
cute.
scenes, yeah.
Kids said they want to go. I said, all right, we'll go see that one.
Yeah. Did you stay
But that is-
through all the way through the credits at Spider-Man as well?
I just saw the mid.
I saw the one.
Didn't get to
I
the
didn't see
second
the
one.
other one.
The second
I had
one
to pee.
was okay. The second one was pretty entertaining too, but it still seems like, if that's where they're ending, it doesn't seem like the next film is going to be removed from the universe, or else they would have, probably. done
Again,
things
it
a little
doesn't
differently.
seem like that, but
Well,
I'm just
yeah.
talking about what the execs are saying. They're
Everything
like,
could
yeah,
change in 3 years, obviously. Sure.
Please don't wait 3 years for this next one.
hey man, you gotta wait.
It's usually
No.
3 years between any major.
That was
films at
last
this
year.
point.
They introduced the Black Panther. You ain't gonna see his movie for another year,
Oh, it's next year.
right? But he was introduced last year, just like Spider-Man introduced last year. But you got his movie this year.
Yeah, the Defenders is coming
gotta wait.
soon, though. I've been seeing stuff for that.
Defenders,
that
That's
must be
true.
almost
So
ready.
we have a lot of stuff.
I think
to,
Defenders is about to drop.
We have a lot of
in
stuff to
September.
keep on our palate
Oh,
and
yeah.
keep us interested.
I love
So,
living in this world right now. I mean, I'm so glad that I am alive, from the comic book geeks that we were back in the day to the comic book geeks that we are today.
Mhm.
Did you ever imagine that we used to play games back in the day? We would have our ultimate castings. I
Yeah.
know we've said this before, but we're like, oh, who could play Storm and who can play this and who can play that?
I
you
called
know.
Patrick Stewart back in '86 for Professor X. Did I get my Patrick Stewart check from Professor X? No.
Well, he was the obvious choice.
Well.
But anyway,
All right. Anyway, that said, I guess I'm exhausted.
All right. Well,
Spidey-gasm.
that's it for another episode of 252. Be sure and tune in next time for more exciting coverage on whatever the heck we're into next week.
so for Frank G, Ralphie D, I am Cool Water Kurt saying from us here at Retronerds 252, have a good evening. So good night, Internet, and may the road ahead be lit with dreams and tomorrows, and are lit with dreams. Also, stand tall, Internet, trustworthy, recycling, wear a condom.
Just kidding.
252.
Adonis, pull yourself together.